Yo, and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
Podcast.
I'm Taylor.
I'm Morgan. Happy Thursday and happy episode 250.
250, 250. Who the fuck are we?
Who are we?
No.
That's crazy.
And we're like so close to season 6.
Ah!
Season 6? I'm sorry. No, because I'll never get
scared.
over our bestie who was like, I've been listening to you since I'm 17 and now I'm 21. I've thought about it every night. It's haunted me.
Don't ever.
Like just...
Why did you bring that up?
Because that's all I could think about. It's
Why
haunting
did you
me.
just
I
remind
had to
me?
share it with you. 250 episodes just doesn't even seem like that much. Though, you know, like
Yeah.
in the
Do
grand
you
scheme.
remember like at like
Okay,
episode
I know.
70 we're like, what are we gonna cover?
No, literally, we're like, there's nothing else.
And like here we are,
we
finding
still got
random
shit.
Well,
We
me,
still-
random shit. Taylor is that's serious shit.
I don't mean to say. I don't mean it to be like hateful when I say this, but like. There's crime cases that happen every single day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would love for the day to come that I run out of cases.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Wouldn't that be such a euphoric, like different universe that we don't exist in?
right?
Right. Beautiful. So I hope you guys had the best 4th of July. Me and Morgan had a 4th of July.
We had a good.
We had a
good
really
4th
good
of
4th of July.
Taylor and her mother are convinced I didn't.
No,
I got cornered by Tanya.
No,
you didn't
I
have
didn't
a good
think that-
time, and I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "We weren't on the boat." I was like, "Yes, we were." I was like, "You know me, Tanya. You know my skin. I can't be in the sun that long anyway." So
Yeah.
I prefer the house breaks.
It was
like,
just like the year of my little sisters. Like it was their
and
turn.
I love that for them.
Yeah, and like we got to be a part of it. Like we
Yeah.
went from it being our years,
Yeah.
and now it's theirs, and like that's fine.
And I love being the creepy old lady
I do
watching
too.
them. Like,
and I like that they were all begging us, please come
Oh,
do this,
guys.
please do flip cup with us.
Please.
And I was like, damn, we're like so cool. They want us to play with them. They want us to flip cup.
yeah, they want to hang out. What?
But like we were so freaking just like sun tired because it was so hot, guys. Like I don't know what it's like where you guys are. It was 1,000,000 degrees, but the humidity was low. So that was really nice actually, because when the humidity's up and the heat is up,
yeah.
I can't breathe.
I thought it was supposed to rain all week. Like I feel like we've been
it's been saying it was supposed to rain all week this week, and I've been praying
radars
for it.
the last 3 weeks. It's like it's gonna rain, and I don't think it's rained at all.
It hasn't rained yet this week, and it told me. Well, it actually says that it's supposed to be raining here soon, but no shot. It's not.
It
anymore.
definitely might have rained last night a little bit because my driveway was wet.
Really, I wish it was. I wish it would have rained more because my plants were so thirsty this morning, and I had to go out in my nasty
I'm
PJs.
neglecting my back garden so bad. My flowers and my lavender.
No.
And my lavender is so strong. It's just so hard because my hose is in the front,
Oh yeah, you're right.
and I'm not.
Do you have a watering pail? Okay, this is what you're gonna do tonight because they're thirsty, and you need to. It's too damn hot. You need to put it on your sink, so that way, like when you see it, you go and do. Just water them fucking night when you get home.
Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah, just do it tonight. Even though like it's not that great for fungus, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's not like you have food in there, so it
Right,
doesn't
and
matter.
these are like actually like all sunflowers, so like
They're probably thriving actually.
yeah, they do need a little bit of water.
Yeah, they just need some.
I think what actually
Spray.
killed my lavender was too much water.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's
Guess
what
what
killed my
killed
water
them?
that used to be up front because Logan wouldn't stop
And
watering
the soil.
it.
The roots were desperate for more soil. There was this much space.
They were, they were standing
they
up.
were scared.
They were fucking 10 foot tall.
And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I did it like 3 weeks late. I might go get a new one because I did like the smell of those.
Yeah.
But yours is going great because I smelt it from the road. I was like, I smell Taylor's garden.
My garden's popping off right now. Hey, do you know what I have?
fuck?
What?
I just saw like flashing light like right there above your head, but I think it was my eye.
Okay. That's
It was
weird.
like up on the wall.
You were kind of looking out of the corner of your eye at me.
Yeah, I
so
don't
maybe
like
you
that.
just
What the fuck is happening to my
nearly
eyes?
passed out. I don't know.
I don't know, guys. Weird.
Weird. I think I had like a ghost experience in my house.
Ooh, tell me more.
And it's been a minute since something's
Yeah.
happened. So, by the way, I'm going to do the Susan vlog when
forgot
Morgan's
about that.
at the beach because then I don't all my editing will be done. So it'll come out in August on Patreon and you'll get reels on socials.
We're
around
not
August.
recording that Thursday, right?
I don't remember because we didn't move. No, we are not recording the
Because
Thursday
I got a
before you leave.
proposal to go early.
Go.
We are, but
Okay, good.
Thursday night.
Yeah. We're not recording Thursday.
I didn't think so.
No,
I think just Monday that week or something.
Yeah, we did.
I think will definitely be Tuesday.
Well, I think we put it at Tuesday. We were like, we can do Monday if we have time. But anyways, my ghost experience. So I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't typically wake up in the middle of the night unless like the cats are being crazy. So I don't know what it was necessarily that woke me up, because we had the door shut so the cats couldn't come in, because long story short, when we go somewhere like on a long weekend, we just give them dry food. But when we're at home with them, they get their proper wet food. When we switch them from dry food back to wet food, that the first few days is always horrible, because they're so used to being able to eat whenever they want a little snacky poo. But whenever it's their wet food, like it's only given to them at the times of day that they get it. Anyways, we had the door shut because they were harassing us that night. So anyways, I woke up, it's like 3 a.m. Witching hour.
Ooh.
I think it was like 3:45. So I'm like, okay, well, I get up and I go to the bathroom, because I'm looking around thinking like, okay, we have this like mirror that suction cups to the wall in the bathroom in the shower, and sometimes it'll just like randomly fall off in the middle of the night. So I thought it was maybe that, because it was like something that jarred me up too. And so I go in there, I pee, whatever, and I'm looking for the cats and I don't see any of the cats. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're upstairs asleep. So I walk upstairs, none of them are up here, because now I'm like, did we forget to let the cats in? Because we had taken them out before we went to bed. And I'm like, I remember bringing them in, but like, did they escape somehow? And normally Ophi will sleep on the couch. Mila will sleep either on the couch or on the rug or on the chair in the dining room or upstairs. And Nona has 2 spots. There's only 2 locations that Nona will take a nap, and they're both upstairs. So I come up, I look at Nona's spots, no one's here. I look in Logan's room where they like to lay on this little bed that they have in there, no one's in there. I look on Logan, behind Logan's desk, he has a little cat bed where Ophi likes to sit, no one's in there. I come into our office, no one is in here. So I go back downstairs and I'm like, maybe I missed them. Now I don't have any light on, so I'm flipping on lights, okay? I don't see anyone. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go back into the bedroom thinking maybe we locked them in the bedroom, and what woke me up was them trying to get out. So I open back to the door to the bedroom, no one's in there. I come back out, Morgan, they're all 3 standing in the hallway looking at me.
What the fuck is wrong with them?
Like they teleported out of the house, and then when I was looking for them, came back.
I hate that.
Is that fucking weird?
My stomach would have dropped.
No, I was like,
that's fucking scary.
So I just like touched
I don't like that
each
at
of
all.
them on the head to like make sure they were real and there. And I went back to bed. And then I questioned myself. I was like, was I dreaming?
Yeah, maybe you were sleepwalking.
I could have literally been sleepwalking.
I can't tell you how many times I'm like up and moving, but like I'm literally
asleep.
sleeping. I do it all the time in the morning when I go to the bathroom, because I get up, I go to the toilet, and then I'm like finally come to like 10 minutes later. I'm like, okay, I'm up. Like,
what
I
time
get
is
up.
that? Yeah, I do that too. And I'm known for a sleepwalk every once in a while. And I'm known for a lot of sleep talking.
Yeah.
I'm yapping even in my sleep.
Moaner.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, back to the 4th of July. We went wakeboarding.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my God. It was so fun.
Surfing, right?
Yeah, wake surfing, not boarding. We went wake surfing, and it was so fun. And I'm so proud of myself. I got up in one try, and I haven't.
She fucking killed it. She had her. Have you guys? I don't know if you've ever seen Harry Potter. I know J.K. Rowling is, you know.
Yeah.
But the
yeah, my tongue.
What is that? Who's that guy's son? The ministry or the Department of Ministry or whatever their name is. His son that was in the cage. And
Yes.
he's like,
That's me.
Mad Eye Mooney. He takes over his body.
I can't think of his name, but
it
I know who
doesn't
you're talking
matter.
about.
That was Taylar on the board. She was like,
My tongue was out. It lifted up. Lips in. That filler was tucked in, sucked in, bitch.
Yeah.
Right in there.
lip flip. Couldn't even.
Oh my God. I forgot I got a lip flip and it set in the other day, and I was
Is it
trying to
as
drink.
bad as our last one?
Yeah, bitch. I was trying to drink out of my straw
Did
today
you tell her
when I was
that
on the
we
phone
got
with you.
fucked by that?
No, I didn't, but I should have. But I was trying to drink out of my straw when I was on the phone with you, talking to you on the phone in the car earlier, drinking my drink, and I went to go drink it, and I was like, it was rolling down my face, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta drink it, like sign on my face. I forgot I got it. But anyways, we went wake surfing. The boys went. Aaron was so funny on there.
Guys,
what's it called? Aura farming?
Aura farming?
Yeah.
He was all morning. He woke up and he was like, I was hearing the videos and I was like, but it like kept repeating. So I know he was watching, he was cackling. I was like, are you watching an Aura farm video? Because Aaron's an Instagram Reels guy. So like,
yeah,
I think that like those things take a little time off of, like we see it before on TikTok.
Yeah.
And He was like, this is so funny. Have you seen this? I was like, yeah, I've seen it. He goes, are you practicing? Are you going to do it today? And he's over there on the bed, like,
yeah, doing it.
like practicing. I was like, I'm going to tell the girls that you want to do it. Like, you want to make a video.
Like, don't you dare.
And so, of course, I do.
She
and
did anyways.
Taylor's like, the fuck? And Phoebe's doing it. And then, anyway, so he did just a little one because my man don't dance.
Yeah, he's not going too crazy.
He's a little shy boy.
A little shy.
But it was so funny. And then at the end, he was like, we're like, anyone else want to go? We're on our way back because it was late. We didn't realize it was like 8:45.
It was literally 8:45 and it was still bright outside.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I'll just go because I'll stay on the longest. And I was like, oh my God, like cocky much? He was like, I didn't mean it like that, you loser. Like he was so embarrassed that I like brought attention to it, you know? And then he got up, fell, got up, fell, got up, fell. And we're like, you done yet?
And well, the hardest part too is like this specific boat that we wake surf on is we've been recently changing the way that we do the
bags,
the wave itself. So like when you're doing it, like on other boats, your sweet spot where you can release the rope is a little further back, but this one you feel like you're about to run up on the back of the boat. Like you feel like you're about to hit the propeller with your face. You're so close. And it's so hard to like get over that mental block of doing it. I was in it for 5 seconds and I'm like, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, it was scary.
I don't even let go of the rope.
I'm like, where's the motor at?
And guys, I'm a psychopath. I'm always so afraid that someone's gonna get ran over.
Everybody, there's TWRA right there.
There's TWRA
right there. Black boat.
There's a boat right behind you. Don't fall.
I'm like, there's 4 kids on it. She's like, oh yeah, that's not TWRA.
That's on there. That's on there. People are just drunk and crazy on holidays, and I was so afraid that it like someone would come up behind us and like they would let go and fall and not see like Aaron or Logan or Nikki or whoever was on it in the water. Oh my God. And I get so stressed out. I'm the worst to,
you know what
to go
I don't
surfing
understand
with.
though about boats is like, why haven't we created a boat that doesn't
lift up so you can
see? You can see in front of you.
Well, that and like, why is there not a, like you said in Pennsylvania, like if you have someone off the back, like you have to have a flag up or something like that. That needs to be a thing here in Tennessee. Because like, how are you supposed to know, especially when the sun is as bright as it was?
Oh my God, yeah.
When we turned around and we realized that these guys could not have seen Aaron or Logan or anyone in that entire, like, hell no.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am the worst to be on a boat with. Boats scare the shit out of me. Like, and it's not like us being on the boat, it's everyone else being out there because I'm like, I know they're drinking.
Well, and then our depth perception
0
is terrible. We're like, oh my God, that boat's gonna crash, and then they keep going and they're literally 100 yards away from each other.
More than that, like
it's so far,
a mile.
Like, oh.
It's so embarrassing. Anyways, we had a great time.
It was good.
And we decided that we have to go back and do it again because we all need to be like, when I realized that I haven't done it in a year and a half. I was so like, I'm really proud of myself. And y'all are like, yeah, bitch, we've seen it on TikTok. We've seen it on Instagram.
I ain't seen it on TikTok.
I put it on TikTok on Taylar Jane 1. Go check it out.
I will.
But like, I've never been able to go more than 2 seconds without the rope in my hand. And I want to do it. I would like to be able to do it. And I want to like ride it like Logan does. Like Logan kicks it up and goes up on the top and he does the spins and stuff. I'm like, bitch, you've been surfing since you were like 1.
Yeah,
you know,
that
doesn't even count, you know.
That's unfair advantage.
That does not count. You're done. You've been
drive the boat, please.
Yeah, seriously, like you don't need to be doing anything but driving this fucking boat. Oh my God, Aaron was driving the boat. He did so good.
Yeah, he
did really
like, oh,
good.
I'm so nervous. And Taylor's like, TWRA. I'm like, oh God.
I'm like, sit down, there's TWRA.
Meanwhile, we were doing nothing illegal.
No, there was nothing illegal going on.
Like
everyone has their license.
Yeah,
no one was drinking
funny.
and driving. No one was drunk. Like we
didn't even have alcohol.
No,
on the
we
boat.
didn't. We had enough life vests for everyone. There was nothing illegal that was going on. I'm just convinced that they're just such sticklers.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what the stickers mean on the side of the boat. And they have their binoculars out looking at the stickers on the side of the boat. If they pulled us over and they're like, what does the sticker mean? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Are these numbers right? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Boat registration, I think, is right.
Yeah, it's like your registration numbers on the side. I don't know.
Why do you?
What the fuck I register a boat for?
Yeah, I'm not.
This is the open water. This is Mother Nature, bitch. This is not man-made.
You don't own it.
And also, I don't see you laying tar out on this bitch. So,
really though, I get they're there for boat safety, but why do they have to be like that?
And like, and why are they all like? And then
Aaron said one of his work buddies was at Lake Norris.
Oh, were they
Norris
crazy
Lake.
out there?
Oh, he said cops were everywhere. He said every cove you went into, they had a group pulled over. They were everywhere by the hundreds out.
So
North
Saturday, the day after 4th of July, we went out surfing. We drove all the way up to the Tennessee River where the Hiwassee and the Tennessee meet. And we were up there because like there's not that, it's way wider and way deeper of a channel. So like it's way less congested on a holiday. And there was a bunch of like TWRA out in the morning. And I started feeling bad for them. No one was waving at them. And they were waving at me while no one was waving at them. So every time I saw them, I was like, have a great day. Thank
They're
you.
like, guilty.
Yeah,
Pull her over.
pull me over. Like, seriously, but I felt bad because they were just like, they're just doing their job. Like,
Yeah.
they're out there. They want to be with their family out on their own boat, not riding around in a full fucking uniform.
Yeah, why can't they wear lifeguard outfits?
Why can't they wear literally
little, like, gun
anything
belt?
but like police gear out
Yeah,
there?
why
They're in SWAT gear
They have
out
to
there.
be hot as fuck.
Literally. And they're like reflective glasses and big hats on. And like, and I'm like, oh my God, and no one's waving at them. They're just out here, like, they don't even get to have like their little holiday, and no, everyone's ignoring them, turning the other way.
Should we start the episode? Wait, why do I feel like we've been talking for an hour?
Wait, no, we haven't. It's nearly been 30 minutes.
I know, but I just really felt like, am I high?
I don't know. Maybe there's carbon monoxide poisoning because I also feel high.
Like, am I stoned? No, really, I'm kind of freaking out right now.
Are you-
Oh my God. No, I literally just geeked out because I was like, wait, we've been talking way too long.
Way
like,
too long.
An hour.
We have been talking about a lot. We have been talking fast too.
Yeah, that maybe
Me, I have like high energy today. So eat it and
We should record though.
we
huh?
need to get, but before we get there, we did want to really quickly talk about the floods in Texas. I am
sick.
guys, I feel like I can't even scroll more than 2 videos or like look at a news headline without sobbing.
It is so fucking terribly sad.
My heart goes out to literally everyone out there. I mean, the amount of little girls and like children at these camps that were affected.
Mothers, fathers,
These
grandparents.
camp counselors that have been there for 40 years that like have touched so many people's lives and like sacrificed their life. I mean, I can't even talk. I'm going to literally sob my eyes out. I have chills all over my body. I mean, these people that are doing everything they can, dying to save their families, to get them out of these houses. It is devastating. And the death roll just keeps rising.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and it's giving me like personal, also like not, I don't want to say PTSD because that's an overstretch, but like it's reminding me a lot of like Helene.
Yeah.
And it just like, how does this happen this fast back to back with each other? It feels so upsetting, and it is like just to see everything that's going on and the stories that are coming out of it. And I wanted to personally thank all of the first responders and first responders families that are out there. I mean, hours nonstop, eating when they can, if they can, drinking water when they can, if they can, sacrificing their lives to go save people. I mean, I've never seen so much footage of people going in and saving people in my entire life. That Coast Guard search and rescue guy who like got all those little girls out and was carrying.
The counselors with the names on their
Yes, and the little girls that were like, we wrote our names on us because if we died, I wanted people to know who I was.
Yeah.
Little kids shouldn't have to think like
I saw a
that.
fucking terrible video today because not that I would ever want to take attention away from the Camp Mystic, but there's other people involved in this.
Of
Other
course.
people that live in this area, camp in this area. And
I mean, there was
whole
RV parks that
family
were wiped out.
looked over, and he said that he lost his girls. He lost his mother and father.
Can't.
They were over in the next cabin over with their grandparents. All in one swoop. Like, that is sick.
In 5 seconds. It just happened
How
that
do you
quick.
lose your children and your parents in this?
I can't.
It's fucking terrible. It is so terrible.
I saw this video of a girl who was in a tree for like 24 hours, and
Yeah.
she's the only person of her immediate family that survived. Like,
Yeah. It's
that's
just,
and then I was, oh my God, I was watching this older couple, and the husband immediately threw a life vest on his wife, and he didn't have time to get one for himself, and they were holding onto a tree. She was up against a tree, and he was wrapped around her in the tree, and it literally reminded me of that scene in the movie about the tsunami in
Yeah.
Japan.
the one with the boy diving into the pool.
Yes, and you remember how there was that scene of the people holding onto the palm tree? That's what it reminded me of. And on literal like ABC national news, the interviewer, I think it was literally David Muir or Mike, whatever his name is. He says, "And you weren't letting go of her, were you?" And the husband said, "Hell no." Literally.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I couldn't imagine like being in a situation. I mean, the babies, I can't. I mean, it's so
young kids.
These, I mean, and the old people that just like couldn't,
Like,
the
and you know,
disabilities,
the excitement of camp.
Yeah, like it's a.
This
you
is
think
what
their
they
trunks
look
are decorating
forward
their
to
trunks
all summer,
and this has been around for years.
Yeah. It's like one of the largest like all girls leadership camps in the country.
And it's just, I mean, it's devastating. It's devastating what has happened. And it's not only the camps. Like there are local people there that have been devastated. There were people that were there in their RVs at different campsites in the area. It was 4th of July weekend. Everyone was out there grilling, having a good time. And then this happens. Like, it's one of those horrific tragedies. And the fact that it's like still unfolding and that they're still getting rain.
Yeah.
It's water, guys. Like, water is
such a powerful force, such a powerful element.
One that has to be so respected. And so, anyways, guys, our prayers and our hearts and go out to you. And again, like the families of the first responders that are out there and like not knowing if they're okay and like what's going on. Like, we love you guys so much. And if there's anything,
and we do have some listeners in this area.
Yeah, so we do. We have a lot of listeners in that area of Texas. So
we love you guys.
Love you guys so much. And if there's anything that we can do, anything that we can share on our social medias, just let us know. We are 100% available to do that. Send it to our email, which is creepsandcrimes@gmail.com. So that way we can see it a lot faster than if it goes into the DMs. Okay, Morgan.
If you're driving,
for the 250th time,
please, if you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get
creepy. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go first because I'm doing part 2 from last week of the case of Jodi Huisentruit. I told you guys at the end of last episode that we were getting kind of like, there was just so much going on. Really, this case doesn't have much to it. The majority of it's just theories. I'm going to talk more about it at the end because I don't want to distract you in the beginning, but I talked about this with Patreon a little bit because I was going back and forth on how I wanted to do this part 2, but ultimately, like we talked about at the end of episode 1, and again, we edited out like a big chunk of me realizing that I needed to hold off until this week. So like, I don't know the extent of what it like that I talked about. I listened back to like a little bit. For some reason, I keep getting confused about what I did or what I didn't say. So if you hear something twice, just, I'm still going to do a recap, but I try to like over explain a little bit of things that I know were at the end, just in case I didn't leave it in, or maybe I didn't give as much details I wanted to. But we're going to pick up kind of where we left off, but I am going to give you a recap first. If you haven't listened already, you really need to go listen to part 1 in episode 249.
There's a lot of names. That's all I remember.
Names. And like the time, what we did was a timeline of the entire like abduction and who Jodi was last week. And this week we're going to do the avenues that investigators looked down, the theories, the potential persons of interest / suspects, and then like new developments that just came out literally this week. Even though I kept it as chronological as I possibly could, I'm not prioritizing chronological order as much as I am just like sections, so that way you guys can follow along easier. Okay. So let's get into our recap really quickly. So it's Tuesday, June 27th, 1995 in Mason City, Iowa. 27-year-old Jodi Huisentruit, the morning anchor for the local news station KIMT, is an hour late to work at 4:10 a.m. when her friend and producer Amy calls and wakes her up per this like little deal that they had. Jodi answers and says that she's going to be there in 10 minutes. She throws on her clothes, her shoes, her jewelry. She grabs her hair and makeup supplies so that way she can get ready at the news station, along with her purse, keys, and paperwork before rushing out the door of her second-story apartment where she lived alone, locking it behind her. She goes down the stairs and out the front door of her building, and the apartment complex is called Key Apartments. She goes outside of the front door of her apartment building, which you guys can see a diagram and pictures of from last week's Instagram post announcement, and she walks into the parking lot straight up to her car, which is a red Mazda Miata that she had just got. She puts the key in the door to unlock it, and as she is unlocking it, she is attacked. A huge struggle ensues between her and her attacker, leaving a trail of her scattered belongings, including her hair dryer, contents of her purse, hairspray, an earring, her work papers, her car key that is nearly bent at a 90-degree angle, and her red shoes with drag marks coming from them in the silt between the two parking rows. And just like that, Jodi Huisentruit was gone. After 2 more failed attempts to contact Jodi, her producer, Amy, ended up having to fill in for her on the morning show, which wrapped at 7 a.m. At which point, the staff at KIMT decided to call police requesting a welfare check because this was so unlike Jodi. Police arrived at the apartment 10 or so minutes after they called this in, so like 7:10 or so. They immediately observed the scene around Jodi's car. They call in for backup and shut the scene down as a crime scene, heading into her actual apartment. There they found several things that indicated Jodi had not been alone that night, such as 2 used wine glasses on the kitchen counter by the sink, with several empty beer cans in the sink, and what stood out the most being her toilet seat that was left up. Then, while doing a detailed search of her car, they found and collected a partial palm print on the driver's side of the car that was on the outside driver's side of the car that was too large to be Jodi's, along with a few hairs and fibers from inside the car. Note, they do not believe that Jodi was even able to get her car unlocked that morning, much less open the door. So why these things that they found and collected inside the car are a part of this, no one really knows. But remember that only 30% really, and that's probably a stretch, of what police know about this case has been made public. A lot, in the majority of this case, is still kept close to chest. Neighbors were interviewed, and several of them recalled hearing a woman screaming and yelling, "Leave me alone," at around 4:30 a.m. on June 27th. But no one called police because, especially in summer months, it wasn't really uncommon for them to hear rowdy ass folks at this campground that was just next door to them. The news of Jodi's abduction spread far and wide quickly because of her being a local celebrity, the morning news anchor, and her friends at KIMT having the ability to push her story as soon as it happened to gain awareness, leading a man to come forward named Randy, who saw a white van idling in the Key Apartments parking lot at 4 a.m. on his regular commute to work on the morning of June 27th, which stood out considering he had never ever seen it there before, and it was the only car on with lights on running in the parking lot when he passed by at 4 in the morning. Years later, Jodi's across the hall neighbor would come forward claiming that on the night of June 26th at around 8:30 p.m., she heard a man banging on Jodi's door, yelling for Jodi to, quote, "Open up the door, I know you're in there, Jodi," end quote. However, she did not tell this to police when she was initially interviewed at the time of Jodi's abduction. Police then retraced all of Jodi's steps in the 24 hours prior to her disappearance and learned that after hosting the news on June 26, she went to the Mason City Country Club to represent KIMT in a golf tournament. She was like a golf goddess in high school. She then went home, changed, and returned back to the country club for a dinner that was hosted for the end of the tournament to like wrap it up. And she was there with like all of her coworkers and friends. She left at around 8 p.m. telling everyone that she had a early morning, so she needed to get home. And we know that she was at home at 8:24 p.m. because she called her best friend, but only spoke to her best friend's husband because Bestie wasn't home at the time. And Jodi and Bestie's husband chatted for a few minutes about her weekend water skiing with friends before hanging up. And it is assumed that after hanging up with Bestie's husband, she like got in the shower and went to bed. However, this brings us to where we left off last week with 49-year-old John Van Sice, the local seed corn salesman that was pretty well off and good friends with Jodi. Police first learned of John when he himself pulled up to the shutdown crime scene just before or around noon on June 27th, the day that Jodi was abducted, telling police, quote, "I was the last person to see Jodi alive," explaining that after leaving the country club dinner, Jodi had swung by his house to watch a 15-minute video that he had made for her 27th birthday party earlier that month, a surprise birthday party that he had thrown for her at one of their favorite local dive bars. He said that after they watched the 15-minute video all the way through, the two chatted for a few minutes before Jodi left to go home and get into bed. However, that timeline doesn't really work, or at least is just like tight as fuck for her to have left the country club at 8 and then be on the phone with Bestie's husband at 8:24 p.m. And speaking of that phone call, remember how I was telling you that she was telling Bestie's husband about her water skiing weekend the weekend before? Well, it was with John on his boat called the Jodi, and they stayed at John's son's house on the Lake or River. It was no secret that Jodi and John were friends and spent a lot of time together, but according to Jodi's friends and coworkers, it was very, very, and really honestly, like any stranger that saw them in a dive bar, it was very, very obvious that John wanted more out of their relationship and like thought more of Jodi than that. It was no secret that he was obsessed with Jodi, and Jodi liked the attention that she got from him and the fun that the two of them had together. Like I said, he's well off. He's paying for everything. Like, she's going to a local bar and getting free drinks.
Yeah.
And having a good time. Like, okay, I'll be your friend too. You want to take me water skiing?
Right. On my boat, technically.
And you're like, not
it's
like,
my name.
yeah, it's literally my name. And like, you're not necessarily like creepy and like touchy. You're just, an older guy who looked, whatever, like, okay, fine.
Right.
I'll go, whatever. She liked the attention that she got from him and the fun that they had together. However, when police asked John about this, like their relationship, he insisted that they were just close friends. He even sat down personally with Jodi's family to introduce himself, telling them, and really anyone that would listen to the countless interviews that he did and would continue to do, how he thought of Jodi as a second daughter to him and, quote, just loved watching her have fun, end quote. And I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I just love watching her have fun.
I hate it, but also like I can see
it.
My dad being like, I love watching you guys have fun.
Right, like my dad this weekend
saying,
being like, you guys had so much fun. I just like watching you have fun, but it's not like her.
But it's not just my dad and a young girl.
Right. It's not like she's best friends with John's daughter. John's daughter's in Italy.
It's not like your dad's telling me he loves watching me only have
you
fun.
Have
and
fun.
my dad saying,
Morgan, I love watching you have fun.
Yeah, no, that's creepy.
See, like that's
I'd be
creepy.
like, sir?
No, okay.
Imagine Bucky saying that.
I'd be like, Bucky, are you okay? You don't even know what my name is half the time, Bucky.
That's true. Poor guy.
Oh, Bucky. But where we actually left off in the last episode was me making mention about the weird comments that John had made about Jodi's car to one of his friends. Now, this friend was a woman named LaDonna. I can't remember if I left it in or took it out, the portion where I kind of spoke about LaDonna at the end of last week's episode, but she and John were super close friends and they lived nearby each other. So every morning, the two of them would go on a walk together from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Oh my God, imagine if they were walking.
It's a long walk.
Well, it's an hour and a half, So I'm thinking like we're getting there at 6:30 a.m. We're leaving our house at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
We're making a coffee. We're putting the coffee in the to-go cups. I'm showing you my garden and then we're going. Maybe, but I don't know.
Leaving at 7, doing a 45-minute walk back to the house at 8. I don't know.
Well, it's just like walking that early, I'm gonna have to shower and it's already 8. Like, how am I gonna get to work on time?
Yeah, true.
Right. By the way, I went on a walk yesterday morning at 10 a.m. It was so hot. I had to shower.
Yeah, I can't even walk Ollie now till like 7:30.
Right, like
it's so hot.
I'd have to wake up at like 6 in the morning if I wanted to walk in the morning. Mm-hmm. But I just don't want to walk at night because by the time it's nighttime, I'm sorry, I'm gonna rot on the couch. Like I can't. I need to be watching Desperate Housewives on the couch.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, let me go back to where we were. So every morning they would go on a walk from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. with the morning of Tuesday, June 27th, 1995 being no different, which is why LaDonna was able to vouch for John's whereabouts that morning and kind of became his alibi for police. Well, while being interviewed by police about, being this alibi, LaDonna, told investigators that John had mentioned something recently about Jodi that might be helpful to their investigation. And according to John, this is what she tells investigators, according to John, the red Mazda Miata that Jodi was driving was actually a gift to her from, quote, her boyfriend that she had planned on actually giving back because, quote, she didn't like it. And there's a few things wrong with this. Number one, Jodi loved this car and was so proud of it and told everyone that it was her first big girl purchase. Mm-hmm. Like, why would she lie about this being her first big girl purchase? No. Number two, she had just bought it from a friend of a friend who happened to be a man and was in the process of getting the title put into her name at the time that she was abducted. So not planning on giving it back and not a gift. She bought it. And then thirdly, and most importantly, Jodi did not have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So like what is that about?
What is she talking about?
Right. Like,
sounds like she would only hear that from John.
Right. And it's like, that seems like a weird thing to say. It seems like
a lie.
A lie.
Yeah.
Weird. This weird and almost jealous-like comment that John had made to LaDonna was really the tipping point for police. So they started digging into John's past, where they found that he actually did have a criminal record. He had been arrested and charged with DUIs and other things of that nature, and actually had a court-ordered or court-mandated breathalyzer in his car to be able to drive it. Obviously, these charges don't make you a stalker, abductor, or a murderer by any means, but it does show that he does suffer from alcohol substance abuse disorder. And police weren't the only ones digging into John because the public was too. Like I said, he was doing tons of public interviews and talking to anyone that he could. So everyone knew who John was. He's Jodi's best friend. She's like a second daughter to him. He was all over every news station. He was handing out flyers, doing all the work too. Something that John made super easy for all of them with all of his media interviews, in which he would often refer to Jodi in the past tense.
Oh.
Like she was the best. Talking about how much he cared for her, how amazing she was, and so on. But at the end of the day, that was really all they had on John. Speculation. Nothing concrete. Nothing that could get them a search warrant, even if they wanted one, and they did. Still, though, John was very willing to work with them. He was very eager to help and extremely cooperative with police, taking 2 voluntary polygraphs, which he claims to have passed, even though police refused to give a comment. Like, I've seen 3 different interviews with like the lead investigators, and they're like, okay, he says that he passed the 2 polygraphs, and they're all like, no comment. So to me, I'm like, okay, so he passed them?
Yeah.
Like,
surely they would be jumping at, but he failed.
Like,
yeah.
Find that really odd, but okay. And on top of that, he voluntarily gave them his palm print to compare against the one found on the outside of Jodi's car, and it was not a match. Though police felt like there was something more that John was withholding from them, at the very least, like maybe he knew something that he wasn't telling them, they couldn't let themselves get tunnel vision on him. So they continued to explore all of the other leads, which was a challenge in itself, considering by June 30th, 1995, 3 days after Jodi's disappearance, her case had captured the entire nation, with national news taking on her case, and in some twisted, fucked up chance of fate, fulfilling Jodi's dream of one day being on national news.
Oh, damn.
According to her childhood best friends and sister. Also, alongside of this, the FBI comes in to assist, so that even amplified the attention on her case. So hundreds and thousands of leads start pouring in. Some decent but unrelated, others straight up fake, and all of them just clouding the ones that were important, making it nearly impossible to see through each and every single tip and lead that came in. Even still, though, they had conducted over 800 interviews within the first month mark of Jodi's abduction. Jodi's mom and sister hired their own private investigator and even got her case featured on Unsolved Mysteries in 1996. The tips continued to roll in, clouding each and every single one of them as they did, but years are passing with no official development in the case. They even had a grand jury convene in 1997 in hopes of getting an indictment specifically for John Van Cise, but nothing came of it. No warrants, no indictments, nothing. And by 2001, police still had over 40 persons of interest in the case. That is crazy.
Yeah.
They can't even narrow it down. With one of the most well-known, other than John Van Cise, of course, being a Mason City man named Dustin Honken, who at the time was in prison for the manufacturing and distribution of meth, as well as obstruction of justice. But most importantly, the lead suspect in the disappearances of his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, his former friend that he did business with in the methamphetamine business, that had actually turned him in, that friend's girlfriend, and her 2 children.
Oh, 4 people total?
5. So Dustin Honken's current girlfriend's ex-boyfriend,
okay,
his old meth business buddy's girlfriend, and meth business buddy's girlfriend's 2 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, who all 5 of their bodies had been found in 2000. And in 2001, Dustin Honken was charged with all 5 of their murders. Now, what connected him to Jodi's case is actually happenstance and drugs, which in my personal opinion is fucking bullshit and a part of this like massive rumor mill from like shit like this, but I'm still gonna give you the details on it. With the only reason this possible connection had legs being because, number one, Dustin's girlfriend worked at the Mason City Country Club and allegedly had been working the golf tournament dinner on the night of June 26, which has never been explicitly proven. And number two, because of something that Amy, the producer who called her at 4:10 in the morning, later said. Basically, Amy said in an interview with police that she wouldn't be surprised if Jodi was abusing drugs because, quote, she had been up and down, referring to her moods, prior to her abduction. But like, okay.
Yeah, that could literally just be mental
Was she
health.
on her fucking period? Is she tired of having to wake up at 3 a.m? Like, we also know that she had been getting those like nasty calls, felt like she was being stalked, was going and, you know, wanting to change her number, wanting to take self-defense classes. Like, she could have been homesick. And the last thing that would have popped in my mind if you had been being moody before you were abducted was that like, oh, she's using drugs. I'd been like, she didn't sleep good. She was on her period. Like, she was pissed off at.
Why would she jump like that?
That's just a crazy thing to say to me.
I agree. That's actually crazy to assume.
Yeah, and on top of all of those reasons as to why I don't think drugs had anything to do with Jodi's abduction, not a single other person ever mentioned a potential drug problem that Jodi may or may not have had. And there has been nothing else to suggest that she had a drug problem or was even using any drugs in general that has been made public, at least. So take that theory with a grain of salt, because I think that's just bullshit.
Well, and also they would have found something in her apartment.
This guy's distributing meth.
Yeah.
You're going to find something in her apartment.
Yeah.
So, but that same year, so 2001, there was another abduction that took place of a 17-year-old girl named Anne Sluty that many people immediately connected to Jodi's case, because just like Jodi, Anne was abducted while walking to her car at night at a local mall on April 6, 2001 in Nebraska. And her personal items, like Jodi, were found scattered all around the car. However, there were witnesses who actually saw the man approach and attack Anne, striking her on the head and dragging her into his minivan that was parked nearby. And thankfully, Anne was actually able to be rescued 5 days later, after 5 days of fucking hell, mind you, in Montana, and her attacker / abductor and rapist was arrested, and his name was Anthony Zappa.
5 days. Wow.
5 days. After looking into this, investigators decided that though the MO looked similar from like outside looking in, it was more than likely not connected to Jodi's case at all. Like, they couldn't even tie him to Iowa in any way, shape, or form. So they file this lead away with the thousands of others, and they move on to the next. Now, fast forward to 2004, when investigators start looking into a disgusting excuse for a fucking man that gets to breathe the air that we do on this earth, named Thomas Korskaden from Austin, Minnesota, that is less than an hour north of Mason City, Iowa, who had actually been on investigators' radars within the first month of Jodi's disappearance for a few reasons. Firstly, he was a known violent sex offender, convicted of sexually assaulting a woman at knife point, along with several other women, including his own daughter.
Oh, God.
Secondly, he was known to be driving a white van that is dead ass literally a rape van that he called his porn palace.
Ew, sick.
Because it had a mattress and porn posters all in the back, and that is where he would commit his crimes. He was also known to be driving that white van in the area of Mason City in the summer of 1995. So that's literally the van that Randy saw on his commute to work at 4 a.m. on the morning of Tuesday, June 27th, idling outside the key apartment buildings. Now, thirdly, and most importantly, while in court hearings in the mid to late 90s, so after 1995, when court officials brought up Mason City, because I guess like there was a case that they were trying to connect him to in Mason City, and they had like evidence to prove that he had been there in that time, Korskaden immediately smiled and said, Jodi Huisentruit. Sorry? What was that? At which point the officials began like, oh, do you know anything about that? And he was like, I might know something. And they were like, okay, is Jodi alive? And he said, nope, she's dead. And on top of that, according to his ex-wife, he was obsessed with watching Jodi on TV in the months leading up to Jodi's abduction, and had apparently been desperately trying to get tickets to this live event that KIMT was putting on that Jodi was going to be at for a meet and greet, and was livid when he couldn't get the tickets. Then, following Jodi's abduction, according to his daughter, who, mind you, was one of his victims, he was obsessed with Jodi's case. He watched everything that came out on it. He read every article that came out on it, anything that he could get his hands on. So with all these pieces falling together perfectly in the place, investigators immediately get a warrant for his palm print so that they can compare it to the one found on Jodi's car. But it was not a match.
Damn.
Sorry, now I have to switch to notebook. So 1 second.
Not the paperback.
Yeah. So moving on from that guy, and I have two different. Great. that we have to work with here. Okay, moving on from him. Now, this is way out of like timeline order compared to like what because like I said, I've kind of kept it like, okay, that was 2001, now 2004. We need to kind of go back in time for a little bit into May of 1997. So this guy is named Tony Dewan Jackson, and he was arrested after a series of rapes in the Twin Cities, which is Minneapolis and St. Paul, and convicted of raping a Cottage Grove teenager, but also tried for the rape of another woman in Woodbury, along with like several other ones. And this is only 2.5 to 3 hours north of Mason City, Iowa. There was a distinct fanny pack that he wore in all of his attacks that all of his victims were able to like identify. And that's what ended up getting him arrested, because they found it in his car. And when police found it inside, it contained his quote rape kit. It was handcuffs, rope, mask, duct tape, and a gun. Terrifying. The fanny pack found in his car plus the DNA connected him to these rapes and stalking cases, and that's what eventually got him convicted. But specifically in one of the cases that took place on May 17th, 1997, a woman had come home to find a man sleeping on her couch, and she immediately thought that it was just like her roommate's friend just crashing at their place. So she goes and she gets in the shower, and as she's getting out and like walking out in her towel, the man that was sleeping on the couch, who was Tony Jackson, took her to her room and raped her, then left. I tell you this because most of his cases include or involve him getting into a woman's apartment. However, there was at least one known instance where he attacked a woman as she got into her car, similar to Jodi. And they also knew that the current spree of rapes that they had gotten him on in 1997 could not have been his first. It was too experienced for a first time spree like that. So come to find out, in June of 1995, he was actually living in Mason City after moving there in 1994 from Chicago, and lived only a block from the police department and KIMT. So anyways, they figure out that he's been in Mason City, and that's what made them look into him for Jodi's case. He eventually gets convicted and he's put away. But then in 1998, a jailhouse informant comes forward to officers saying that he had been like hanging out with Jackson in jail while he was awaiting trial for the rape cases, when Jackson claimed to him that he had murdered, quote, an anchor woman, and then heard him mention it in a rap that later came out after this. So like probably 1999, a rap song. I'm going to read it to you. The informant was a man named Dennis Goth, who is now dead. And this is what the rap was. She's a stiffin around Tiffin in a pilage of silage in a bilo below off a highway by a grave road. Now, Stiffin is dead. Tiffin is a city in Iowa that's not too far away from Mason City. It's this very, very, very small town, roughly 161 miles southeast from where Jackson lived in Mason City, which would be 322 miles round trip. And I know that sounds like kind of confusing, but there's a reason that I'm telling you that. Investigators then learned that Jackson had purchased a car on the 26th of June, 1995, the day before Jodi had been abducted. In 1997, when he was arrested, they look at the mileage on this car, and he had put a lot of mileage on it. And they also learned that Jackson actually had an obsession with news anchors, and he wanted to be a talk show host himself. When he was in college, he had actually been like on a talk show for like a broadcasting program through the university. So they're like, okay, these are a lot of connections that are being made here. Then a journalist by the name Carol Lowe. And now Carol Lowe, she is like one of the lead people who has worked on Jodi's case since it first happened, and was one of the founding members of Find Jodi, which we've talked about in the last episode, and we'll talk about more here in a little while. She like hears this tip or whatever, so she's like, I'm gonna go take my ass to fucking Tiffin, and I'm gonna drive around and see what I can see, because again, it's a really small town, like very rural. So she's like, okay, I just need to find a cemetery, a bunch of silos, and maybe I'll find something. And she fucking does. She goes to the cemetery and she's standing in it. She's turning around and she looks over and she can see an abandoned farm with 3 silos.
So I'm just still wrapped up on the rap song. Was this on SoundCloud or like?
No, so like he was just like rapping it in jail and like wrote it out in his like journal and was like singing it to people. So then when the informant who knew about like an anchor woman heard that and like knew about Jodi Huisentruit, because I guess the guy, Dennis, that was the informant, he was from the Iowa area. Okay. So like he immediately was like, clocked it immediately. So it's not saying anything like explicit, like I killed a newswoman and I buried her, like anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just like the fact that he had said that and then a year later is like wrapping around the jail.
Yeah.
Weird. So the journalist, Carol, she goes to this like cemetery in Tiffin. It's like the biggest cemetery there. She's looking around. She sees this abandoned farm that's like on the same road and she sees these 3 silos. So she goes over and she checks it out. She takes a bunch of pictures of it and she calls this in to police and she's like, hey, I know this is all crazy sounding, but what if it's legit? Like, why don't we see this one through? So they actually get together a team of agents with K9 teams and everything to go and search the abandoned farm. And the dogs indicate that they had picked, and I'm sorry, it was cadaver dogs that they went out there with. And the dogs indicated that they had picked up a scent with 2 out of the 3 alerting to one specific silo, but ultimately the only things that were found were actually animal bones, and more specific than that, raccoon bones. Now, side note, speaking of raccoons, I saw this video on TikTok that in Northern Ireland in a zoo, they have raccoons.
And they're skinny.
Yeah.
I saw it too. We're on the same for you.
Yeah, we are. And like, my man, like these raccoons are over there just, how are they keeping, and there wasn't even like a fence over them. These raccoons are just chilling in this.
Yeah. And
like,
we get the feral one.
Yeah, literally. Like, you see a raccoon here, run for your life.
Yeah.
They're so smart. They're so cute. I love raccoons. Like,
my dad used to have a pet raccoon.
I would love to have a pet raccoon. I would feel like Pocahontas. Like, that'd be so amazing. Oh my God, I would love to have a pet raccoon. Anyways, going back, it was raccoon bones. Rest in peace. Then in February of 2021, Tony Jackson is interviewed by the 2020 team that did this entire episode. And this 2020 episode that has been one of my best sources for all of this, it's actually going to come back and is a really big part in the update that's coming up here in a little while. So keep that in mind. But they went to him and they were like, can we personally interview you and like talk to you about like this connection? And long story short, this is bullshit. And what he's saying is 100% right. He's like, look, I don't know if you've ever been to Tiffin, but Tiffin is a very much sundown town and he's a black man. And he's like, if I was in Tiffin, someone would have saw me in Tiffin. You would have no problem getting someone to say like, my ass was in Tiffin. And on top of that, he's like, I never killed anyone. I'm a rapist. I'm not a murderer.
Damn.
And also like what he talked about, which really actually like resonated with me. And I never thought, like, just giving him the benefit of the doubt and like looking at him as a person instead of the rapist that he is like, he explained like what he, like why he did what he did in such, like, you could tell that he's actually like put in work, you know, and not that that takes away from anything because like whatever, but like he's right. He's not, that's not his MO. He's not a murderer.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's like, I think y'all are just racist just, like, as fuck. Like,
he said that?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I mean, buddy, though, you wrote a rap song that like is rare, would resonate
Stiffin and Tiffin, but it has nothing to do with.
I thought there was a part about an anchor.
No, that was just because he had mentioned a year prior.
Oh,
to this one guy that had
I thought
heard
it was
the rap.
like the informant, like, or
no,
okay,
no, like in that rap song, it says nothing about an anchor woman, nothing at all. It was just that same informant that had talked to him while they were awaiting trial. He was like, "Yeah, I murdered an anchor woman," and then fast forward to a year later when he's like going around the jail rapping this song. The informant's like, "Oh my God, Jodi Huisentruit, Tiffin is not too far away from her." Now, granted, I find it weird that there was a lot of, like, they can make sense and, like, make time for that mileage to be, but it's like, you know, how are you going to account for 2 years worth of where someone drove and be able to say what the exact mileage is on it?
Yeah.
You know, so
mine's 40,000. So
yeah, I just think this was a little bit of a stretch. I'm not saying that like I'm defending him in any way. Like he could be, but like listening to him, his interview and like all the stuff, he's right. Like that's not his MO. He's not a murderer. Mm-hmm. He's a rapist and that's that. And like he's a nasty ass person for that. But like he's not going around killing people.
So why'd they focus? So why would 2020 waste their time?
I guess it was to put it to rest finally because it is one of the like everyone talks about him. That's why like I'm sure everyone that knows this case has been like, when the fuck is she gonna talk about it? When the fuck is she gonna talk about it? And I've just been putting it off because to me it's just like I don't think there's a connection there. And if there is and I'm wrong, like good. Like if it gets someone put behind bars, but I wouldn't want someone to be wrongly incarcerated for it. Right. A lot of people get really, really, really hung up on this rap song, but like it's only because you're forcing the puzzle pieces to fit that even works. Like you're telling me a year ago he mentioned something about a news anchor and then you realize that he like wanted to be a talk show host. Like
we'd all be guilty of every crime then if that was the case.
Right. Like if fucking David Muir got murdered or Robin Roberts got murdered, am I going to be the primary suspect?
Yeah. See, I do think there is something with the creepy pedophilic rapist dad.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Korsgaden.
With
his porn palace.
Well, I feel like, though, he was definitely there and he was stalking Jodi, but I don't think he did it.
Yeah, again, like, it's another one of the things where, like, he's a rapist, but he's not a murderer. Right, he could have watched it.
I think that he saw what happened and he knows.
And that's why he was, like, obsessed.
And that's why she was being stalked. He was stalking her.
Or maybe he, like, had, like, an apprentice underneath him that he, like, set out to do it. Yeah. And, like, it wasn't him. I don't know. Something's weird about him. But Morgan, this is where we're going to get into the weeds of the conspiracy theories about Jodi's case. So.
Back to the phone.
Back to the phone by notebook on the ground now. Fast forward again, it's now 2009, and a Mason City police officer named Maria Ohl requests a meeting with the investigators on Jodi's case, telling them that 2 years earlier, her brother-in-law, a man named Shane, who is actually a reverend at a local church, had gotten a call from a woman in Minnesota claiming that 3 members of law enforcement, specifically 2 Mason City officers and 1 DCI agent, which is Iowa's Division of Criminal Investigation, were involved in Jodi's abduction.
Oh boy.
Which really stood out to Officer Maria with Mason City Police Department, who was telling investigators about this because in recent years, there had been a lot of whispers going around the rumor mill about Mason City Police being involved in Jodi's abduction. Explained to the investigators that she had held off on reporting this to them for so many years out of fear that she would lose her job or that there would be some sort of like retaliation against her. However, with the rumor mill getting louder and louder about this topic and her having her own first-hand experience with it potentially being true, she knew it was time to come to them. Basically, not long before she, like her tipping point, a few weeks before she came to Jodi's lead investigators, she had been investigating another Mason City crime case that had happened. And she was like at this apartment complex interviewing people. And as she was sitting there interviewing people, she overheard 2 people talking about Jodi Huisentruit. And basically they were like, yeah, we know for certain that this person, this person, and this person from Mason City Police were involved. And so she went and like asked them about it because she had already known about this call about, you know, Reverend Shane, her brother-in-law. So she's like, hey, like, what's this about? And they kind of became informants for her, which is really interesting. So investigators, to Maria's face, kind of like brush her off. And they're like, okay, like you really, okay, Officer Ohl, are you really like giving into the rumor mill now? Like, what the hell, you know, type of thing. But behind closed doors, according to Find Jodi, they did look into those 3 officers. And allegedly, they eventually cleared all 3 of them, which was not a surprise to anyone that believes this theory because just like any other department, it's a good old boys club. It is important to note that Jodi's family has come out and said 100% they trust the Mason City Police Department and they think this is just like a classic part of the rumor mill. I mean, it's just one of the 500,000 million other rumors that is going around, including the drug use one and like so much more. Literally, there's this one woman that came forward in the early 2000s and claimed that she personally witnessed Jodi's torture and horrific murder, gave like details about crazy shit to investigators, said that like it happened at a bonfire or a field party in 1995, the day after she was abducted, and it went on until the 4th of July. But then later it was like, yeah, actually I lied about all of that. So then she was charged with providing false information. But here's the thing though with this theory for me. Those 2 informants from the apartment complex that had like worked with Maria and were like, yeah, we'll work with you on it. We know and we have friends that witness stuff. Both of those people are now dead. One from an overdose, yet according to the autopsy on this person, there were no drugs found in their system.
Oh my God.
And the other one was fatally stabbed to death, and there was no investigation into their murder, according to Gary from the organization Find Jodi. Even more so than that, though, Morgan, in August of 2011, so mind you, she came to them in 2009. In August of 2011, Officer Maria was fired due to allegations of mishandling information and possible evidence in Jodi's case. She wasn't even on Jodi's case.
Oh my God.
Which she immediately appealed because she was like, that's so not true. But her termination was upheld.
Oh my God. What if the investigators are...
Yeah. So yeah, that's really it.
That's fucking crazy.
That's crazy. And that's really it for all of the avenues that investigators went down and have publicly discussed over the last 30 years and the theories that have been investigated. As of today, John Van Cise remains one of the top persons of interest in the case and is still pretty heavily pursued by investigators. In fact, in March of 2017, according to Find Jodi, police executed a search warrant for the GPS data in 2 cars related to John, one being a 1999 Honda Civic and the other being a 2013 GMC 1500. Jodi's abduction was in 1995. Why do we need data from a 1999 and a 2013?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like they're reaching.
That's weird to me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
like
doing everything they can
to make that portfolio bigger, to make connect it messier.
Him. Yeah, to be able to just get an indictment of some sort, which I find really fucking weird. Like, these cars weren't even made for another 4 and then 18 years.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's not even like they're trying to get him. I think they're literally trying to make her case folder
bigger and bigger to hide things. Yeah, you can just hide more. The more shit you got in there. And I literally saw in the 2022 Gone at Dawn 2020 special that they did on Jodi's case, they show you, it's literally an entire room dedicated to her case. Like, I'm talking like 7 filing cabinets, hundreds of files in each of them, then boxes on top, like so much. And though nothing more came of this, like a search warrant for these GPS data in the cars, publicly at least, in 2019, John Van Cise released a few public statements in which he, 1, maintained his innocence, 2, offered his help once again to the investigators for whatever they needed, and number 3, added a warning that his time was running out because he had recently been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He was now in his 70s. Then almost a year later in 2020, a guy by the name of Steve told KWWL News Channel 7, quote, an unnamed person who was extensively questioned by Mason City Police following Jodi Huisentruit's disappearance confessed to him, Steven, that they destroyed evidence in Jodi's case. And this unnamed person allegedly knew who abducted Jodi and what happened to her, but was forced to destroy the evidence, which kind of goes back to what you were saying about Korskaden.
Yeah.
With Steve claiming that only he and investigators know who this person is and what evidence they are referring to destroying, which many people theorize will be the main theory discussed and looked into in the upcoming new docuseries about this case that was also inspired by a never before released new tip that was brought in following the release of the 2022-2020 episode on her case called Gone at Dawn. And this new docuseries is titled Her Last Broadcast, The Abduction of Jodi Huisentruit, that is set to be released on Hulu next Tuesday from the time this is released, so July 15th, 2025. And though it is claimed by every single new docuseries or documentary that comes out that there's like never before seen new stuff and all this stuff, let me just put it like this. I think actually this is something.
Like, you have a feeling.
Well, they basically, what I was reading is that after that 2022 special came out, they've had...
Did 2020 speak on the cop rumor at all?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I didn't see it in that, actually. I think they might have mentioned it like a little bit, but like put it with like all the bizarre theories and stuff. But what's really interesting is that basically what happened is after that 2020 special came out in 2022, this tip came forward, and immediately that same film crew got like the green light to start following them around and documenting all of this. So this documentary has been being made since that tip came in 2022.
Damn.
So like, to me, and there's like searches that have never been released like or talked about publicly at all. Go watch the trailer for it if you can't wait like until next Tuesday, because when I watched it, I was like, oh shit. There was this woman in there that like I don't even know who the fuck it is. And she was talking about this guy's name that I've never heard in any of the research that I've done. His name is like Pete or something like that. You know of Pete in this? We've talked about every fucking man name on the planet.
Maybe Pete is the
unnamed person. Like, who knows, right? So together we can all watch this unfold in real time, because like no one knows what's about to come out in this.
Oh yeah.
And we will keep you updated. It's a series. So I think it's a 3-episode docuseries.
You know what I do find interesting though is that, was it only what's her name?
LaDonna.
LaDonna. Was it only LaDonna that claimed that John said she had a boyfriend?
Yeah.
It was only those two.
Yeah, from my research. She's the only one that's quoted saying it. Let's put it like that. And all of her other friends are like, she did not have a fucking boyfriend. Like,
what if she did?
What if she did and no one knew? Because remember those 2 wine glasses?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if he's Pete?
Ooh, until then, however, until that documentary comes out, we get answers to maybe get some answers to some of these questions. It has been 30 years since Jodi Huisentruit was abducted. At the time of her abduction, she was just 27 years old. She's the same age as me and Morgan. And if you or anyone you know has any information that could help bring Jodi the justice that she deserves, please contact the Mason City Police Department at 641-421-3636 or the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation Special Agent Ryan Herman via email, or you can call the anonymous phone line for Find Jodi at 641-999-1109. Now, I want to talk to you about Find Jodi. Find Jodi was created by a bunch of journalists across the entire nation that came together after Jodi's abduction and began putting together all of that.
It was a family thing.
Nope. And they did a podcast from, I think, 2020 to 2022 with like all the information that was coming out. They collect leads, they hand them over to police, they look through leads that police never had the time to look through, or theories like the Stiffen and Tiffin type of thing. Like that was through Find Jodi. They do a lot of amazing work. Their website is it was one of my best resources for this entire episode, along with the 2020 Gone at Dawn episode on Jodi's case, as well as like several hundred other. I watched a 48 hours. I read a fucking million articles about it. But I do want to say, if you do have a tip, one that's like a conspiracy theory, I would say like hand that over to Find Jodi. But if you have an actual tip, please, please, please send it in to the police. I know that they might be corrupt in all of this, but there has been like a little bit of a problem with like the communication between the two.
Okay.
So, or just send it to everyone. How about that?
Send it all.
Send it to us, and we'll also send it to everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a lot. You did great. That was a lot to like divulge. Like the timeline. Thank God you didn't go chronologically. I would have been like, I'm lost.
I don't know where we're at.
I have absolutely zero idea what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, that was section by
job.
section.
Yeah.
Thank you. If something crazy comes out in the documentary, maybe me and Morgan will come on a TBB with like a little update.
Why am I laughing?
Why are you laughing at me? Maybe because of the Patreon drama that went down yesterday about this shit. I don't know.
Oh my God! Wait, that was good.
That was so funny.
Y'all were eating her ass up.
No, they were like, "You need to do a 3-parter," and Noah was like, "Absolutely no, you're not doing it."
The only one.
That's
got your back.
Yeah, like, she's not.
Yeah,
doing
there was a
3-parter.
couple others.
Yeah, there was
and
a few.
And then someone was like, maybe what was it?
It was Bailey. Bailey was like, Morgan needs to do a whole episode so that way you can catch up, be able to have enough time to watch it.
Let Morgan do a couple episodes all by herself.
Yeah.
Hello? I'm trying to get out of this one.
Literally, we're already at an hour and 30.
That's all right.
Okay, guys. Morgan, I'm ready for your case. And
okay.
I'm gonna watch the docuseries the second it comes out. You need to watch it too, so we can get on TVB and like discuss it, or at least like pipe not goss if there's nothing more of that comes out of it. But I think whatever this lead is with Pete, I mean, it initiated like 7 new searches of areas that have never been searched before. So that's really interesting.
I feel like it's got something too.
I forgot to mention this. I know why they got the GPS. I don't know why I didn't write this down. I know why they requested the GPS data for John Van Cise.
Later years.
Yeah. So basically, he doesn't live in Iowa anymore. I think he might like live in New Mexico, Arizona.
He was coming back.
He has been coming back once a year around the anniversary of Jodi's disappearance or her birthday.
That's how did you forget that?
I know. I'm sorry. Guys, it's been a crazy day. So
I was defending him. I'm like, let the man, like, you're just building up your portfolio. He's literally coming.
So he's been coming back and like doing stuff and like just like going to visit people also on top of that. Like LaDonna still lives there. Okay. So he's like coming to visit people. Well, the rumor mill is that he's going to the place where he buried Jodi's body. So that's why they wanted his GPS data. But like that was in what did I say? That was 2019?
Yeah.
And there's never been anything more that's come of it. Like it must have been a flop.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably just visiting friends, family.
Yeah, and like
acquaintances.
What 1999 Honda Civic's gonna have a lot of GPS data in it?
True.
You know, like
all I'm thinking of what is my 01 Honda Accord.
Yeah, I'm like, I know what was in that 01 Honda Accord.
And there ain't nothing.
And you
got a little radio and it don't even work.
Yeah, like
hope you got CDs to play.
Your cassette tape in it, bitch. Like the fuck. Yeah. So anyways, sorry, that was a big deal. I shouldn't have let that out, you know? I just remember that. But guys, I don't have my medicine until next week, so just leave me alone. Okay. Just let me
I
live.
thought you did great.
Thanks.
Okay.
I need to pee and get a water.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I just talked for so long so fast.
Okay. So disclaimer.
Okay. Oh no.
About halfway through these notes, I was like, have I covered this?
Oh no.
And I really don't think I have. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay.
I searched Patreon. I searched the regular feed.
Okay.
And maybe it's just because it's a haunted hotel and I feel like this backstories are the same.
Yeah.
So like in the middle though, it's going to sound I couldn't point out which hotel. I think it's one in Texas that it reminds me of. But anyway, I'm covering the Skirvin Hotel in Oklahoma City.
Okay, I've never heard of that one, so
Okay.
new to me.
But wait till the story, though. You're gonna be like, I've heard this. Okay, but before we talk about the hotel, let's zoom out. And it's located in Oklahoma City, so let's talk about
God, we
Oklahoma
haven't done a
City.
haunted hotel in a long time.
I know. Oklahoma City was officially founded in 1889 during the infamous land run, which was basically this chaotic free-for-all where settlers rushed in, claimed land overnight. Imagine like Black Friday, but with horses, and they're like stealing land.
Yeah.
We know Oklahoma.
trash.
Okay. By the early 1900s, though, the city was booming. Oil money, railroads, politics. It was the perfect storm for a town that wanted to feel like super trendy while also very much still being the wild, wild west.
Got you. So they were like cosplaying saloon.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, we want Cosmo.
Yeah.
We're the cosmopolitans, but also like in the saloon.
And they're like, we want the swinging doors.
They wanted dirty martinis with the swinging doors.
Yeah, exactly. And they wanted like cowboy boots with the spurs, but they needed to be shined.
Exactly.
Got you.
And in the middle of all that growth, there was a man named W.B. Skirvin who decided that Oklahoma City actually needed something glamorous. They needed something luxurious. And they needed something haunted, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's all his fault. The Skirvin Hotel didn't just pop up overnight. It was born out of oil money and the ego of one man who wanted to make Oklahoma City the kind of place that people actually wanted to visit. He wanted it to be a tourist attraction. That man was William Balzer Skirvin, who was a Texas-born oil baron who moved to Oklahoma during the land rush and made a fortune drilling for oil. Because of course he did, right?
Yeah.
And once he got rich, he did what any oil tycoon would do in 1910, and he built this hotel so bougie that it needed its own orchestra, guys.
Oh, okay.
When it opened in 1911, the Skirvin Hotel was a 10-story architectural flex. It had 224 guest rooms, a ballroom, imported Italian tile, an elevator, like I said, their own orchestra, which was a big deal at the time, the elevator, because can you imagine walking up 10 flights of stairs in the corset and skirts that they had to wear?
No, we just wouldn't.
I would not.
We just wouldn't. We'd be
also, like, what kind of shoes do you think they wore underneath of that?
they were like those lace up leather heels.
They were heels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you've seen them
terrible.
before. I'm gonna pull up a picture.
Yeah, I'm just
What-
curious because I was
what-
like, I would be wearing flats
what
if my
year?
skirt was that big with like the
Yeah. What year is it?
1910.
1910 not ballroom shoes. Nice shoes for women with dresses going to the orchestra.
Going to the orchestra. So
the
specific.
Orchestra. I know they're gonna pop up with something very specific. Low heel. Here I mean, literally
Oh, yeah.
exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah. Oh,
Those
look
lace
terrible.
up leather bitches. Oh, look, here's an ad for them. They had red, white, and black.
Oh, that's literally.
And gray.
That is the red one is literally Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
That's
literally.
what that is.
Oh, look, here's 1912 boots.
Let me see.
I can't with the high rise.
Oh. Look
Terrified.
at the strappy ones though. You were slutty if you
Yeah,
wore those.
you were wearing those slutty ass shoes going to the club with your girlfriends. I'm gonna screenshot this so we can put it on for you guys. Yeah, they were red, pink, blue, white, or black.
That's it.
That's
I
it.
hope that matches your fit.
Good luck.
But W.B. Skirvin was not done. In 1926, he added 2 more wings, making the building this like full E shape, which this layout like kind of let the building show off from every single angle on the street. By this point, it wasn't just a hotel. It was this symbol of Oklahoma City's new money. Think chandeliers, velvet furniture, and a lobby full of men in suits trying to make oil deals over lemon drop martinis.
Literally.
They're like grabbing their cocktails, but striking oil.
in old fashioned.
And if we're being honest, it was probably a mess behind the scenes. There was rumors of backroom politics, secret affairs, and more than a few scandals. Over the decades, the Skirvin hosted everyone from governors to movie stars, and it was Oklahoma City's crown jewel until it wasn't. By the 1960s, the place had started to feel kind of dated and not in a cute, like retro-y kind of way. Like the carpets were faded, it smelled bad, musty smell, and there's a little bit of haunted energy energy that started to build up. Business was slowing down, and all over, the glory of this hotel was just fading. In 1988, the Skirvin finally shut its doors, and then it sat there for nearly 20 years, just kind of sitting downtown Oklahoma City like, I used to be somebody, you know? It's just like empty, like
back in my glory days.
It's like a shell of a building.
That's
that's
sad.
so fucking sad. Like, they have life.
They do.
Like,
they breathe life into
those
cities.
pictures when I think of a movie scene where it's like a haunted, abandoned hotel,
and
they
flashback.
and they do the flashback of like the people walking like fast paced.
You
and, like,
see,
what
like,
how lively it used to be.
It's kind of like how they say like a house grieves, because like so much life is breathed into a house, and then like when the life gets sucked out of it, like it just looks
they
sad.
say houses and buildings, they have to be lived in.
Yeah, they have to be, or else
they're
they're just
dilapidated.
sad and they're lonely.
Like Monster House.
Yeah.
Oh, the old man.
I love Monster House.
I should watch that.
Yeah, in fact, we should watch that tonight.
Eventually, the city was like, okay, well, we can't just have this like decaying building in the middle of town. So in 2007, the hotel was fully restored and reopened as the Skirvin Hilton.
Slay.
They kept the bones of the building, the architecture, the glam, the vintage vibes, but they added a lot of more modern touches to make it this like proper luxury hotel again. They kept the marble floors, they polished them, the grand staircase was restored, and the creepy, infamously haunted 10th floor was reopened to the public, which we're going to chat about here in a second. But they couldn't get rid of the ghosts during the renovation. And let's just say their most popular ghost came back with a vengeance.
I'm sure they did.
The Skirvin isn't just haunted. It's like maybe there's a ghost here kind of way. Like, this place has layers and layers of activity, and it all centers around the one floor. The 10th floor. Guests, hotel staff, and even seasoned travelers say the 10th floor just feels different. It's heavy. It's off. The air gets thicker. Elevators supposedly will hesitate before stopping there. Some guests say their room keys randomly stop working if they're booked on floor 10. And then there are the sounds, the unexplained footsteps, knocks on the doors, crying behind the walls. And it's enough that multiple NBA teams now request to stay in a different hotel altogether when playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, just to avoid the Skirvin. That's right. Full-grown athletes would rather go to like a nasty motel nearby than deal with the possibility of catching this specific haunted face at 3 a.m.
Oh, fuck.
So what the hell is going on up there?
Yeah, please tell me.
The rumors all circle back to one woman, the spirit that they have named Effie. I think like Effie, like a Effie? No, Effie.
Yeah.
Effie.
What name was that?
It's off of Hunger Games.
I know, but like what's that the shortening of a name for?
I don't know.
Estefania?
Maybe. That was really nice off the top of your dome.
Oh,
Estefania.
Estefania.
Effie. Effie is more than just this name whispered in the ghost lore. She is a full-on fucking Skirvin legend. But like most legends, the details are here nor there. So the story goes, allegedly, that Effie was a maid working at the Skirvin Hotel sometime in the 1930s. And this was during a time when hotel employees were often overworked, they're underpaid, and they're completely disposable in the eyes of management.
She was Estefania.
What is it?
Euphemia. Euphemia. Euphemia?
I've never even heard of that.
Euphemia.
Oh.
It's Gaelic origin. Well, then God knows I'm saying it wrong.
Oh, yeah, we're butchering that.
Yeah, I'm butchering the shit out of it.
Effie was young. Maybe she was new to the city. Maybe she had nowhere else to go than to stay at this hotel. But she liked her job until she caught the attention of the hotel's founder, W.B. Skirvin, who was that wealthy, powerful oil baron from Texas that built the hotel up. Now, depending on who you ask, the legend is that the affair was either consensual. Sometimes in the story, the affair was not consensual. That part is unclear, but what is consistent in these legends is that Effie ended up pregnant with W.B. Skirvin's baby.
Damn.
And that's when things take a sharp turn from scandal to straight up horror movie, because he was a fucking horrible human being, if this is true. The legend claims that Skirvin, who was terrified of this reputation ruining scandal with the maid at his hotel, once finding out that Effie was pregnant, he locked her on the 10th floor. Didn't fire her. He didn't send her away. He fucking locked her. Some say it was a private suite. Others describe it more of like this attic prison that she was not allowed to leave.
Like Rapunzel.
She was not seen in public, and she supposedly gave birth alone on the 10th floor. Trapped in a room with nothing but walls and her own thoughts and no support.
That'll make a bitch go crazy.
Eventually, according to the story, Effie either went mad from isolation or was pushed to the edge by heartbreak and, trigger warning, suicide. She supposedly threw herself out of the window, baby and all. Her and the baby.
Oh God.
And now I think where I'm getting this story mixed with, there's a story in, I want to say Texas, about a woman in a bathtub with a baby.
Oh my God. No, it was the where Lisa Lamb, the
Cecil Hotel?
Cecil Hotel. Yes, it was the Cecil Hotel. She was locked up in the bathroom. She gave birth in the toilet and was like,
And then she jumped out the
window or something, left the baby in the toilet or something. Like, didn't know she was pregnant. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
it was a long time ago.
It was. And when I got to this part, I was like, I've covered this.
No, but that was close because that has happened before in one of these stories.
Okay, and so that window was on the 10th floor. Whether that version is fully true or not, people swear that the 10th floor remains the epicenter of paranormal activity. Some say it's where she died, others believe it's where she was broken, and today she is back, but not as the weeping, tragic spirit that you would expect. Effie is not quiet. She is not delicate. She is fucking mad. She's moaning and she's messing with you. And most importantly, she's got a little sense of humor, if you call it that. Sometimes it goes too far, Effie. We got to keep our hands to ourselves, but we'll talk about that.
Hey, I'm ready.
So here's some takes from guests, athletes, and paranormal investigators who've stayed at the Skirvin and carried on to tell the tale. There is disembodied female voices, especially at night. Some guests report hearing a woman humming. Many will hear full sentences whispered into their ear, usually when they're alone. Guests and staff have reported the sound of a woman sobbing coming from empty hallways, humming again, or singing, especially near elevators and stairwells late at night. Phones that will ring in the middle of the night, but when they answer the phones, there's nobody on the other line, just silence.
She's just fucking up everyone's night.
They'll also hear children's laughter through the hallways, even when there's no children staying on that floor at all. A security guard once said that he heard what sounded like a woman crying in the stairwell, but every time he'd go and check, no one would be there, and that it actually happened to him 3 nights in a row. The covers have been yanked off, and this is actually Effie's signature move. She loves that. She loves ripping the covers off. Guests have reported waking up freezing because their blankets have been pulled off by the bed. Even when they're sleeping alone, the doors will slam, they will lock. Several visitors claim that their bathroom doors slam shut without explanation, sometimes locking themselves inside.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, no way.
Effie, that's too far. You can pull
And
my
the shadow figures. The most commonly reported ghost sighting is a woman in a long dress. We don't know the color.
Damn it.
I know it's white, Effie.
I want it to not be. I want it to be like green.
Yeah. Oh, you
Purple?
Are so green. Blue. Woman in a blue dress.
Blue. Effie blue. You
Woman
know?
in a silver
She had the
dress.
blue matching
The
shoes.
silver dress. The silver shoes.
Yeah. I'm like, I want her to go hard in the paint with a new dress. Like, let's see something new from Effie here.
Yeah, so the most common apparition is a woman in a long dress, we don't know what color, standing silently in the corner of the room, watching people.
Effie.
She won't move. She doesn't blink. She's just there watching you sleep.
Girl.
Effie seems to have a particular love for bathrooms because guests have reported that the faucets will turn on by themselves, the toilets will flush with no one near them, the bathtubs will mysteriously fill up with water, the lights will flicker, they'll shut off completely while people are in the shower.
No, nope. Effie, you got me.
That's actually fucking illegal.
I will literally never stay at this hotel.
And one guest even went as far to claim that the bathroom light was blinking in Morse code, which is interesting because not a lot of people know Morse code. Also, we have no idea what they're saying because I was like, if you know Morse code, then what were the lights
and like, how did you know it was Morse code?
And how did you know?
Yeah.
Unless it was like a.
Well, I would just be like, this thing's about to blow out. Like, this thing's about. I'm gonna be like, this is Morse code. Like,
I know.
They
I'm
got
gonna
me.
start recording my closet light and seeing if that's Morse code.
Oh my gosh, the one in my bathroom. It hasn't done it in a little while.
Yeah. So like I said, these experiences are especially common on the 10th floor where Effie was allegedly kept hostage until she died. And this is where things kind of get creepy because guests, especially solo travelers, report feeling a cold hand stroke their arm, stroke their leg while they're lying in bed. Some will feel like a breath against their neck. and then like repetitive breathing. Others have felt a finger run across their cheek or tap on the shoulder, only to turn around and see that nobody is there. There have been accounts of hair being tugged and guests waking up to find their blankets pulled off the bed in the same situation. One woman claimed that she woke up in the middle of the night to find a figure sitting at the foot of her bed, only to watch it slowly disappear.
You know, I kind of feel like Effie is like sad when people are by themselves in a hotel room, because since she was like locked up by herself for so long.
Well, and she also hates men, which I'm going to get into.
Oh, good love. Me too. Like, slay queen.
Another had reported feeling someone crawl into the bed with her, thinking that it was her husband, but she reached over and it was not her husband. There was nobody there.
Oh, that's horrible.
Hotel employees have also reported security footage that shows elevator doors opening and closing on their own, or furniture that will shift on camera in the middle of the night.
Damn, that's cool.
And then some even say that they've seen Effie's reflection in elevator glass, only to turn around and find no one there. And a couple other people said that they've seen messages in fog, and like people have taken a picture and there's someone in the back, but I couldn't find the picture. So I'm like, I'm not using that as an example, because where's the fucking proof?
We don't have
if
the
you
proof.
took a picture, damn it, post
that shit on Reddit.
in your Yelp review.
Right.
Okay.
Damn. Or like make a TikTok about it so I can
And
find it.
then, you guys, there's the basketball hauntings. So I
I'm
mentioned
ready.
the NBA.
I love
And
that
for some reason,
This little girl named Effie's just
Effie
fucking up all
is
of them.
obsessed with torturing the NBA guys. Like literally torments them to the point where some teams will refuse, players will refuse staying at that hotel. And you know, from football, you don't really have an option.
No, you
that
have a
shit's
deal with
paid
them.
for.
Yeah.
You're going to the Hilton
And you're
sit your
staying
ass
there.
down, or you're getting benched.
Yeah, you got to deal with
Period.
like these like
Right,
hotel
you're contracted
groups.
with Hilton,
Yeah.
so get your ass there and sit down.
And it's like for NBA and stuff, like you do like high, like super nice ones because they have more like back entrances and stuff,
Yeah.
and like all that shit.
So I was able to pull some player
fucking
testimonials from, it's called basketballnetwork.net, where they interviewed a bunch of players.
Okay.
I think it's like or they interviewed them about staying at the Skirvin. Okay. So we're going to start with Meta Sandiford Artest, aka Meta, calls himself Meta World Peace.
Okay, Meta World Peace.
He played for the Lakers in 2016. And when he stayed there, he said, and this is trigger warning because Effie pushed the fucking line here.
Oh no.
The ghosts were all over me. They touched me all over the place. I'm taking one of the ghosts to court for touching me in the wrong places. How do you respond to
Meta
that?
World Peace.
And then carried on. Meta World Peace was like, I actually didn't write this down, but he was like, I mean, no, I'm never going back there again. I don't even believe in ghosts, but something was fucking touching me.
Okay, so you believe in ghosts and Meta World Peace? Like,
I didn't believe in ghosts, but like now I do.
damn. Oh, I hate that. Like, no ghost should ever touch you like that.
Yeah.
But damn, that's crazy.
And then Lou Williams, who was also on that same Lakers team, straight up refused to sleep there and said, quote, if they say it's haunted, then that's enough for me. I'm not going to roll the dice.
Okay.
Like, my buddies had this experience. I'm not going there.
so she specifically
Actually.
wants to kill the Lakers.
Yeah.
Damn, she hates
But
the
then
Lakers.
there's Trevor Ariza, who plays for the Rockets, told a similar story where he said that he was alone in bed when the lights started flickering and his bathroom door shut itself. When he got up to check it out, there was nothing there. James Johnson once walked into another player, Derek this is for the Bulls. I don't know NBA players at all, so I'm actually giving you guys these names because, well, maybe you do.
I
And you're like
genuinely have
loving
not a
But two Bulls
thought.
players, James Johnson once walked into Derrick Rose's hotel room during a Bulls stay, and this is what he said. Quote, all his shit was flipped over. Furniture, upside down, everything. Effie does not fuck with the tall men.
The Bulls and the Lakers, she's flipping the
She's
shit.
actually like, y'all are too tall.
And get the fuck out
Get
of
the
here.
fuck out of here.
Why are you so tall? I'm going to flip this shit.
And then another player named Taj Gibson woke up around 12:15 to his bathroom door slamming shut by itself, saying, I try not to believe it, but this one is definitely possible.
Oh my God, she's just sitting there, bang, bang, bang.
And then Eddie Curry, who is this like literal 7-foot man, refused to sleep alone. So he bunked with his teammate, his teammate, Nate Robinson, and their 5'9" twin bed, mind you. So like,
Okay.
they're 7 foot tall.
Yeah, they're not fitting in
And Eddie's like, yeah, I definitely believe that there are ghosts in that hotel. Like, I'm never going back. I bunked with my buddy Nate, actually. Like, I could not sleep alone.
Oh my God, that'd be me and you taking turns in the shower.
And then sports writer Bill Simmons got scared as well. He stayed there for some games, and he has woken up to the sound of a crying baby, flipped the light on, and the sound stopped. There's no baby, no explanation at all. And then I want to say, what's the New York team? Whoever owns
Knicks.
Yeah, whoever owns the Knicks, they lost to Oklahoma City Thunder. And I don't know what year this is. I didn't write this down either, but they lost to Oklahoma City Thunder, and the owner of the team was like, it was the fucking hotel's fault. They haunted my boys all night. Like, they blamed the L on the Skirvin Hotel.
So wait, Effie's actually just the biggest Oklahoma City fan.
That's what I was thinking. I think Effie's
She's a Thunder fan.
Yeah. She's a Thunder fan.
She's a Thunder fan.
She's a Thunder fan. Yeah, I think she might be. I think she really
she's
just loves
like
Oklahoma City.
fucking them
like,
up.
She's like, fuck you guys, but like, I like my boys. So like, I wonder if she like will see. I wonder how far away the arena is.
Right, I'm gonna actually
from
look
the
it up.
hotel, because I bet her ass is there watching the games.
I'm looking for the Thunder fans.
The Thunder fans.
The Thunder fans.
Okay, so most of these experiences, right, are reported by men. Most women guests will describe a heavy atmosphere, maybe a chill here and there, but NBA players, they are getting touched, watched,
Oh, that's not funny, but
stalked, and in some cases so psychologically thrown off their game before tip-off that the owner of the team is like, it was the Skirvin's fault. It was Effie's fault, actually. But for such a haunted hotel, Effie is really the only reported spirit, which I do believe there's more. I don't think it's Effie doing it all. However, I think it's Effie that is the full apparition that people are seeing.
yeah.
Currently, the hotel sits under management of the Hilton brand through Marcus Hotel and Resorts, and you can rent it out anywhere from $120 to $300 a night. Super cheap, guys.
Yeah.
So if you're ever in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, this might be the place for you, or it might not be the place if you are a tall man and love how close?
Dude, it's right across the block. It's a 3 minute.
That's why they say, oh my God, she's going to the game. Effie is pulling.
There's definitely a tunnel system underneath this hotel that goes straight
Effie,
there.
I have chills. Effie is pulling the fuck up to the dome. What's it called? What's her arena called?
Paycom.
Pulling the fuck up to Paycom, and she's got her popcorn.
She's got her
She
big
got her jersey
Coca-Cola.
on. She's sitting courtside.
Yeah, literally.
She is sitting fucking courtside.
I'm cackling. I cannot believe. I was not
expecting that either. But
at
that
first,
makes sense
that
because
makes
the
so
players
much
will
sense.
stay at the closest hotel.
Yeah.
The nicest closest
Well,
hotel.
there's literally a fucking Courtyard Marriott connected to the Paycom Center. So, like, why the fuck are they not staying there?
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
That is so
Oh my
funny.
God, she's sitting courtside in her jersey.
That is so I mean,
And
literally.
she's like, okay, fine. You're not from here. I'll fuck you up. That's
so
cool.
funny. She's literally going to the games.
That's crazy. I was not expecting that. I didn't even look that up.
I literally didn't even. There's definitely tunnels underneath.
So
She's going.
this is the haunting of the Skirvin Hotel. However, it's really, I really picked it because of the NBA haunting. Like, that's funny.
That's funny that all these like grown
It's
ass
not. I'm sorry that they're literally
they're
being
not being
like
like being touched is not
like
cool.
Effie actually like
Effie, chill the fuck out.
you can't do that.
You can't do that. It's 2025. You
And
cannot.
maybe
do that.
she was like, these are the most attractive men I've ever seen.
She's like, I've never seen anything like this before in my life.
and so she's
I just
like,
need to get a touch in, like, but that's
That's
not
what
okay.
I'm thinking.
That's not okay. But like, she literally is from what 19?
Yeah, she probably thinks she's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, she's probably like, no, my friends would not even believe this shit.
Yeah.
My boyfriends were literally 4'9". Like,
Yeah. No, really though.
yeah. What year did she die? Or what year was she there? That
27, 1930, late 1920s, early 1930s.
What was the average height of a man?
Effie, we'll never condone it. Ever. So you
Ever.
got to keep your hands to yourself. Ask some fucking permission. But it's either that she loves Oklahoma City Thunder and wants to like really fuck with these men like in their head before the game, or she is obsessed.
Yeah, she just like
with the
cannot
men.
get over it.
Because she's not like leaving them scratches.
Actually, they were pretty
and,
fucking
like,
tall. The average man was 5'7" back then. I was expecting them to be like 5'3" for the men.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah, like I was expecting it to be a little bit short, but I guess like 5'7", like.
I mean, but these men are 7 foot. She probably
Yeah,
has never.
She's
She's probably like, damn, that's long. She's in the shower.
She's like,
like,
could you see those
she's
feet?
like, hold
Like-
the fuck on. Let me flip these lights. Because are you serious?
The Morse code is you're fucking joking.
The Morse code is, are you fucking seeing this shit?
Are you fucking joking?
That's
That
crazy.
shit gotta hurt, is what she's saying.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
All right, we can't be sexualized.
We can't. We're not.
That's fucked up.
We can't be sexualizing 7-foot men. Like, that's not cool.
I'm just thinking, like, I mean, clearly, like, she loves them, though. Like,
She does.
She has to, because
She will not leave them alone.
Well, she's not scratching them.
No,
you
she's
know?
not hurting them.
So it's either she's the biggest Thunder fan, or she literally wants to get dicked down.
Yeah, she's just like, take your clothes off, or I'm gonna flip this fucking
and she
table.
doesn't, and she doesn't. She's not a consensual person.
Yeah.
and for that we shame you.
Do not do that, Effie.
But like, Jesus,
She's like,
man.
I'm gonna flip this table until you consensually take off your clothes. Hey, I'm gonna flip
She's
this
like,
shit.
oh, if I flip this table, then 2 of them will be in the same bed
Yeah,
together.
she's
Make
like-
my job easier. That's fucked up. We're done.
We're
'Cause
done.
We're gonna get canceled.
We're done. She just wants to look at him.
Yeah, she just wants a little peek ski. She had to do a double take with the
You
light.
said yourself she loves bathrooms.
She do be loving bathrooms.
What
What if like the guest that said like she wrote fog in the mirror, like, and never took a picture? What if she was like, nice schlong?
No, what if she wrote, have you seen NBA's guys schlongs? Like, dude, have you seen that shit? That's taller than my last boyfriend.
Oh my
like,
God.
Damn.
Oh, and I bet because that
Sweet
the
Effie.
Skirvin guy like
Skirvin
was
guy
a piece of
was
shit.
a piece of shit.
I bet his penis was tiny.
Yeah.
So
No,
he had a
true. He
tiny
had a
dick.
chode.
So she's like,
She's just blown away.
damn, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do not
We are
cancel us
done.
for this. We're so scared of cancel culture.
We're so, but hey guys, like,
I think they agree with us.
I think everyone's laughing, right? Are you, if you're giggling, you're gonna be canceled too.
Yeah, period.
Yeah, and that's on that. So,
All right, that's all I have.
ghosts and people do not touch anyone without consent. Period. But Effie, take a little looky poo if you will.
Effie, you're allowed to look. Don't touch.
And it's like you can.
it's like she's at the zoo.
no
Look,
one needs
don't
to know
touch.
that you're there.
She's
too,
like a
either.
little kid. Like, I have
Yeah,
to touch.
they said you're like touching cheeks. What cheek?
What?
What cheek? Which ones?
Whispering full sentences. What are they? Are you in the ear? Like,
She's like,
I can't.
are you fucking joking me right
I
now?
see that shoe size over there by the door.
Are you shitting my dick right now? Is what she's saying.
I have a ruler and a... Bye. We're done.
We are canceled. We're canceling ourselves, so you don't even have
you
to.
don't have
Look
to
at this.
cancel us.
We're
Actually,
canceled.
we don't even need to be canceled.
In fact, you won't hear from us next week. We'll take a week off. Okay. Fine. We're not taking a week
that's
off.
crazy. But it is weird, right? Though that there's no other like reported ghost besides Effie. Like she runs that place.
She's the fucking queen of it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if there are any other ones, they work for her. Yeah. She's like,
all right, well, you guys need to go downstairs and you need to do something in front of the security cameras because I'm gonna be upstairs
I'll
on the
be up
10th
there.
motherfucking floor, bitch.
I'm with the NBA men, so you guys need to get the fuck out of here. And I'm gonna go stand in the corner and look at them.
Yeah.
And show
And I'm
them
gonna
my
take
flash.
that Rolex while I'm there.
Yeah, and she's like, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna rip off them fucking sheets in the middle of the night, see what they wearing.
She really does.
She's great. She's a perv, you know?
I want to meet her.
Yeah, I do. I would like to sit down and talk with her.
Okay, but on a real note, there have been no, this is sad, but there have been like what the fuck is it called?
EVP?
EVP recordings where it's a woman's voice saying help.
Oh. Help, this song is huge.
Fuck off.
We're done. That is sad. She was like Rapunzel, don't forget.
No, yeah, she was fucking
And by a
torturous.
man. So if she wants to
She's
go
got a
and
vengeance, yeah.
she wants to go and attack some men, we didn't see anything.
Yeah.
We didn't hear a thing.
Well, and I also wonder if like for it to be the whole 10th floor, I feel like he shut the whole 10th.
Like
10th
shut the
floor.
whole
Like,
thing
that
down.
was the
And they
fucking-
said that they reopened it to the public.
Well, so they redid it and they made it that E shape in 1927.
okay.
I want to say. So I wonder if the 10th floor at that point in time was just storage with the renovation, which is why people assume that it was like an attic penthouse space. Like
And how
it
many
wasn't.
stories are there?
10.
Oh,
She was
so
on the
it's just
top floor.
She was dead ass Rapunzel.
Yeah.
That's
No,
really
it's actually
upsetting.
fucking
Yep. It's tat.
It is Tad.
It is sad.
Yes, Dad.
Yeah. What is the thing that I said earlier? Thunder.
No. Thunder Fun. I wonder if she's a Thunder Fawn.
She might be a Thunder Fawn. Her next door neighbors, I bet she could see them from the 10th floor.
She could definitely see the lights. Or
She's eating popcorn. She's looking at her favorite men running around.
She's like, yep, was with that one
Those
last
are my
night.
boys.
In the huddle. It's actually, they're all huddled up like right before they go on court. And it's Effie actually on the huddle too, like with her popcorn.
She's standing in the middle of the huddle. She's like dodging the clipboard that's like being leaned over. She's getting a little touch and feel in while she's in the center of the huddle.
She's walking around like, good game, good game, good game.
She shouldn't even process
Do they even do that anymore? Do people do good game anymore?
I don't know.
Or is that like a kid thing, good game?
No,
Good
they
game,
definitely
good
do at the
game?
end of basketball games. They definitely do at the end of basketball games. You have to go through and like be nice to everyone. Because remember that's when like Caitlin, what's her name?
You're right.
Got her hair pulled or
I'm so glad adults still do good game, good game,
Me too.
good game. That's
Honestly,
good
I think we should have to do it at the end of meetings.
Effie's standing at the end of the lane like this. Good game. Good game, good game, good game,
Good game, good game. Good game.
Goodbye. I love you guys so much.
Okay. Goodbye. Good night. Bye your life. Like, we're canceled. We know. You don't even have to tell us. We know.
We're
okay.
fucking canceled, yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's so funny though. Like, I'm sorry. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love Evie. I want her autograph. And it makes it even. Wait, where was she from?
We don't know.
I want more information on her.
We don't know.
I feel like
She might not even be real. You know?
I
What if
believe
it's
it.
actually WB whatever Skirvin? Good game. Good game.
Good game, good game, good game.
Goodbye.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Talk to you on Thursday. Bye. God, that's funny.